Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Ganganapate Namaha. Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deva Maheshwaraha. Guru Deva Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sarva Mangala Mangalle Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanya Trambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Bhakti Rupena Samstita. Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha. Om Aim Brim Klim Chamundaye Viche. Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. Welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 4th of May 2025. I want to offer my prostrations, Anantagodi Namaskara, Danvat Pranam to all the great sages present on the planet today, yet to come in the future, who have come in the past, and to all the sadhakas, devotees, bhaktas, muktas, liberated beings present everywhere at all times. With that bhavana, we are continuing to examine the 2 verses of the Bhagavad Gita as we started doing yesterday. And these 2 verses are connected beautifully into Vivek Chudamani, verse number 77, to open this up further so it becomes real in our lives. It is not simply, as I mentioned before, my matter or Sachin just covering material. I mean, that's fine. We can cover material and that's all right. But Vedanta is not about information. Vedanta is about realization. It is a transition from information to realization. So this is why what we're going to do, even at the request of some of you online, I will actually bridge together, by the grace of Bhagwan Shankar, the Bhagavad Gita's verses and the principles in the Vivek Chudamani, because they're the same. But we'll bridge them together beautifully so we can learn some of the verses also. And they are and then I will make documents available to everyone regarding these verses for both scriptures, right? So, lot to do for that, one step at a time. All right. Shri Sadgurubhyo Namaha, Sri Krishnaya Namaha. So, we were looking at this verse yesterday. The verse is as follows. This is verse number 62 of the Bhagavad Gita. And if you're using a phone, by the way, you can turn your phone horizontally and, you can make the screen, you'll be able to see this better. Hopefully you can see it as it is. So the verse is as follows. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bhijayate. That's the first verse. And then the verse after that is, well, let me see. Okay, hold on one second. It's actually down here. And the verse after that is verse number, wait a minute. Yeah. Well, hold on one second. I guess I didn't put that in here. All right. Hold on one moment here. Om Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Bijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammohaha Sammohat Smriti Vibramaha Smriti Bhranshad Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. That's the second verse. So what I want to do here in going through this, we will go through the very first part of this. This first word is Dhyayato. Dhyayato means what? That one who is thinking about, one who is meditating on, dwelling on the objects of the senses. So hold on one moment here. Sorry about this. I'm trying to just find the right place here. Yes. So Dhyayato is composed of 2 words. Dhyan plus taha. Right? So Dhyayan taha becomes Dhyayato. And it begins here in terms of our mental power thinking about these various experiences that we have already had, that we are having now, and that we are going to have. Dhyayato means it's the capacity to think about, to perceive, to contemplate on, to absorb. It's a kind of dhyan. We cannot experience anything until we put our attention there. That is the very first word here. Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha. Vishayan are the objects, the experiences in the Jagrata Avastha. Punsaha means person. Right? So let's just stay with this today. We're going to break it down very carefully. So when we see an object through our eyes, we hear sounds through the ears, we touch through the sense of touch, we taste through the tongue, we smell through the nose. These are the five senses, five sense objects. So dhyayato vishayan. Bhagavan Krishna is teaching us that the vishayas, the objects are there. Okay. Now we are in connection with them. Fine. We have to. That's life. There's no life without any objects of the senses. That's why God has given us these, and we want them to be healthy and functional and well. They have a purpose behind it. Of course they have a purpose. So dhyayato vishayan punsa. That is the fact of life. Hopefully it's a healthy body and there's no problems and all those kinds of things. So we can experience the glory of Prakriti without any problems. Right? This is the first part of this verse. In fact, in this very first verse is the entire Shaiva Tantra tradition. Those first two lines, dhyayato vishayan punsaha. The whole Shaiva Tantra, meaning what? Shaiva Tantra means that you are Atma Tattva, and the Shakti is manifesting herself as this Vishayas, as the objects around you. So that is the expansion of the Mahashakti. So, but this dhyayato means the capacity of the mind, of the brain, to catch and to connect with the object. We have the capacity to interact with the object, to connect with the object, and then to intermingle with the experience of the object. So I hope you see these points clearly. I used a cup of coffee example yesterday, or a cup of tea. It's there. We see it, we can smell it, we can interact with it, can experience it. All of that is dhyayato vishayan punsaha. And that's true continuously in all anubhav. Every experience. You go for a walk, talk to a friend, with a family member, read. It doesn't matter what the experience is. Dhyayato vishayan punsaha. हमारा जीवन ही सब ये है. Every being, not just human being, all beings, but this is addressed to human being. Dhyayato vishayan punsaha. Sangasteshu pajayate. Now the next activity that happens due to agnan, due to ignorance, due to the jivatma not realizing itself, that is why the sangha is there. Iska sang lag jakta. Sang means that you've taken on the color of that experience and internalized it. That is called sangha. Otherwise, it's not an issue. Sachin can have a cup of coffee every day. Natural experiences are there from memory and all that. But is it possible to have our meals, have our cups of coffees and everything else we do without sangha? Yes. That's the whole point. इसका संग नहीं लगता, किसको नहीं लगता? जो सिद्ध हो गए, जिसको आत्मा का अनुभव है. If we are living in atmic consciousness, कोई विषय का संग नहीं लगता. Interaction is there. Interaction with Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. This is called Panch Vishayas. Panch Vishaya also means that the interaction between the senses and the objects and the experience between the two is called the Vishaya. Isko Vishaya kehte hain. The Sanskrit is used very carefully and properly, obviously. Right? So we should be very clear about the language and the terminology also. So, Sangasteshu pajayate. So now what is this sangha? Take the cup of coffee, for example. I have experienced it. There's the interaction with it, the experience of it. The experience of it has the ahankar behind it that I like this cup of coffee. Colombian coffee, I love it. With vanilla cream or with whatever it is, the different creamers you can get. Now see, how can we remain liberated in the interaction with the object? So Sachin drinks a cup of coffee. There are many techniques shown by all the acharyas from Gyan Marg, Bhakti Marg, Karma Marg. I'll talk about these three. How to remain free from all three paths when drinking a cup of coffee. You can try it today. A lot of fun. How to remain free from bhakti. Let's start with the Bhakti Marg. So in the Bhakti Marg, the sadhana is when the cup of coffee is being actually experienced. I'm putting it in my mouth and then swallowing it. उसका एक अनुभव है, ठीक है? अनुभव, विषय अनुभव. In that अनुभव, भगवान का नाम लेना वहाँ. Now try this sadhana. Try it today. Just with one cup of coffee. You see what happens. You start connecting with Paramatma through a cup of coffee. We think of connecting Paramatma through murtis and mantras and scriptures. But cup of coffee is not murti? Why is not? It is. 100%. As much as there is the murti of Sri Krishna in the temple, that cup of coffee is also Sri Krishna. But how? How can it be? This is how. When it is, first of all, before drinking the cup of coffee, Om Sri Krishnaya Namaha or Ram, just take any name, offer it mentally to the Lord. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. That's what Gita is teaching us. Very quickly. And then, see how to remain unbound. Then when we are drinking it, say the name of the Lord at that time. Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama or Hare Krishna mantra or any mantra you want to speak. You can remember Bhagavan in that experience. So while the experience is going on, take the name of God. Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. So your vritti wahan hai, anubhav chal raha hai. You understand these 2 points? Vritti is where it is. But the vritti is connected with the Paramatma, not with, I like it so much, let me enjoy it. And how people are toasting those alcohol drinks. एक इतना मूर्खता है सब कुछ इसमें से इतने जन्म उभे होते. So many lifetimes come out of that. The moment you toast somebody with an alcoholic drink, you're connecting with that person, not with Bhagwan Krishna or Shiva. And you can be bound with that person because of that toast for thousands of lifetimes. We don't realize these things. It's not dangerous sab ye hai. So then what do? Even if you have to do that, take the name of Shivji. Even if you have alcohol, that is Vam Marg Tantra. Has anybody done that? I want to find somebody who's doing that. I'll give them a special certificate. That you're toasting with an alcohol drink, champagne or something, and you're holding that, you're thinking of Bhagwan Shankar at that time. And then when you're drinking it, you're also thinking Om Namah Shivaya. If you have somebody like that, come here, मैं आपकी पूजा करूंगा. वो भी पूजा है, and that sadhana is there also, by the way. That is the Vam Marg Tantra sadhana. I don't want to go into that right now. That's a whole different subject. But it's not a different subject. It's the same concept here. Ichha itni hai for all these for alcohol and for all different kinds of high experience substances. Mix in Shivji in that. You have only Shivji or Devi, nobody else. उनको ही mix करना इसमें, because वो उनका domain है. That's why in the Kal Bhairav temple they offered the alcohol to the Bhairavji. This is why. They offer fruits also. You can do the puja in any which way. And by doing that, he will remove that entire thing and transmute you. Isn't it amazing? Think about the wide range of Sanatan Dharma. And if you connect this with the Bhagavad Gita, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate. Now we're talking about the sadhana. I don't want to deviate too much. So this is the bhakti. So this sadhana that is shown in Bhakti Yoga. Now to do that with every sip, Sri Krishna Sharanam Mama, or to speak a Bhagavad Gita shlok, or to speak a bhajan line, or even to listen to a bhajan, and to be absorbed in the bhajan while you're drinking that cup of coffee. Try it. Literally try this. Take your favorite, Diet Coke or whatever you're drinking. Doesn't matter. Keep it there. Put on a bhajan. Or if you don't want to put on a bhajan, when you're drinking it, take the name of God in that and then let it come through. When we do that and we connect our vritti inside the Paramatma, that experience becomes bhakti and it becomes samarpan. It's like you're offering it to the Lord, but it also completely is non-binding. So this word sangha in this verse, sangha steshu pajayate, the sangha doesn't happen there. Sangha Bhagwan ka hi rehta hai. Even though the object is being experienced, it is not like how normally, like, oh, I like it so much. I like it so much. I don't like it so much. The likes and dislikes and the ahankar, iska function nahi hai wahan. And that takes some time to get to that point by doing this type of sadhana. Most people don't know that they can do this sadhana. Now we know that this is how it is done. And this is described by so many gurus. The great sages became great because of this, the simple things like this. Not because they knew verses and verses and verses. What is greatness? How did Ramakrishna Paramans become Ramakrishna Paramans? Like this. This is how. It's not a question. It's not a question of rejecting the Vishayas. Okay, maybe you have to be at a party somewhere and all that. Okay, theek hai. Bhagwan ka naam antar. You don't have to tell anybody anything. Just simple Namah Shivaya. That's enough. And while it is being drunk, Namah Shivaya. And with the alcohol, particularly alcohol, cigarettes, drugs. Not you shouldn't be taking those things, but if you are, put the Shivji inside there. If you're going to do it anyway, people are smoking, some people are chewing tobaccos and all those things, right? To ek mala rakhna. Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Perfectly allowed, by the way. Perfectly allowed. In fact, it is good to do that. Why not to do that? But Shivji ka naam dena. Or you can even take the Devi ka bhi naam le sakte hai. But I would recommend Shivji ka naam dena. This is called left-handed path. But that is where we're infusing the name, the divine name, Divya Naam, Bhagwan ka naam, inside the experience of potency. This is called left-handed Tantra Sadhana. But there's a danger in that. A lot of danger. If you don't have right guru, you can get lost inside that thing. It is not about experiencing the Vishayas. It is coming out of the bondage of those Vishayas back into Paramatma. But it's a different kind of path. And there's a Dakshin Marg, the right-handed path of sadhana also, which is, where just the more sattvic elements are used. And then that's how we can, people, they say we're vegetarian. All right, be vegetarian. That's a sattvic thing. But what's next? After being vegetarian, have you left anger, left jealousy, left all these other things? So vegetarianism is good. But even in that, there's all kinds of modification to do for health and all that. The point is that the goal here is to transcend the binding power of the Vishayas. Dhyayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate. Sangasteshu Pajayate means that the Sangha, the absorption in the Vishayas, it is born, the Vasna is born, the Sangha is born, the internal binding is created. We are creating a Granthi. This is the creation of Granthi. See this. The knots, for example, if you have a big rope, right? And if you knot it up, you can make knots in the rope. Take let's say if a 1 mile long rope, you can make knots and knots and knots. We are creating internal psychological knots in the Sukshma Sharir every time we interact with these Vishayas. Think about it. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है. This is not a small thing. And this is the sadhana. ये सब real sadhana ये है जीवन की. Of course, मंदिर में जाना, of course भगवान की जो मूर्ति है उसका ध्यान करना, everything, संतों का संग कर, those things are there. But Adhyatma doesn't end there. It actually really begins, that's like the preparation. It begins when we interact with these Vishayas. And see the magic that happens. भगवान का अस्तित्व वहां रखना. Right inside a cup of coffee. Right inside having dal bhat shaak rotli. In Gujarati we might say this way. In any experience. जो भी अनुभव है जीवन का. He's talking to somebody as a friend on the phone. Remember Bhagwan first. Then talk to them. While talking to them, offer the entire karma. This is the karma yoga path. I'll just take another minute here. Karma yoga में कैसे करना है? And they all combine together, of course. In Karma Yoga, at the beginning, remember the form of your Ishtadevata and offer it. That I'm offering this karma to you. Do the karma. After the karma is done, having a 10-minute conversation on the phone with a friend, it's a karma. At the end of that, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, no karma is accumulated. That's Bhagwan Krishna Swayam kehte hai. You offer everything to me. Offer all your karmas to me. Chapter 3 of the Gita. Keep your attention on me. This was Karma Yoga. That is a sadhana. When we speak to somebody today, in the mind, Namah Shivaya or Sri Krishnaya Namaha, jo ishta hai, unka naam dena. If you're Bhakta of Devi, Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaya Viche, that's fine. You can, or Durga Rakshini, or Durga Ye Namaha. Any of those names are fine. Sri Ganeshaya Namaha. Try to do this. And see the magic that happens. Whole system, हमारे जो my mental system, it is going to transmute. This is what we've been speaking in the last several days. The transmutation process is done this way. Jeev, Brahmarup, Jeev will turn into Shiv in this. Amazing. So we'll talk more about this. We can spend, you can spend a lot of time talking about it. But anubhav mein jana. These are simple sadhanas to do, but they're not so simple as we think, because our ahankar is wanting to run after the vishayas and forget God. That's the difference. The vishayas are not the problem. Dhyayato vishayan punsa, up to that point, there's no ahankar in that. Sangasteshu pajayati, that's where the sangam, that is where the ego comes right inside and says, I'm grabbing hold of those vishayas. This is mine. I like it, and I like this, and it is my ahankar that is grabbing hold of that, rather than connecting through love with Paramatma. There is a big difference. बहुत फर्क है इसमें. Ramakrishna Paramahansa drinks a cup of coffee, and Sachin drinks a cup of coffee. The coffee is not different. The difference is inside the internal connection with Paramatma. Ye farak hai. It is not about those objects. Even if, there's the incident of Shankaracharya ji drinking alcohol, actually. He took a bottle of alcohol, and he had all of his disciples with him. And they were shocked. They said, "You're drinking alcohol?" They said, "Sure." But then he also had a boiling pot of water, boiling water. He drank that also. He told his shishyas, if you can drink this boiling water, then you can drink alcohol without any effect. He was at that stage. He was a Siddha yogi. The purpose of that prasanga is to show that the Vishayas are not the problem as such. The difficulty is in our Agnan. You're grabbing hold of them. That's where the trouble comes. You see, so it's not a question of the objects so much. I mean, there is a whole realm of that also. But it's more a question of how much interconnection there is with Bhagavan. You see, this is the key. And that is where our focus can be. Now, why not do it? You don't have to tell anybody anything. And you'll be surprised. In any action, even in a Rajasic environment, in a Tamasic environment, in any place, at any time, in any Kriya of any kind, you can bring in the Namah Shivaya mantra. Bhagwan ko dekhna wahan. Have you ever tried to do this? People go to those dance parties and, those marriage ceremonies, and they have all those those Bollywood songs are going on. All those people are dancing on the dance. They're just going crazy. Have you thought that this is actually nothing but a form of Shiva? Sit and observe and say, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Bring that into divinity. Vivekananda Swami taught this kind of stuff. To divinize the material experience. And the material experience is seen in the divine light. So one remains free. And there's a broader vision through which we can see the material experience. But ye baat aisi hai na, this is not about telling somebody you're doing that. If the link is there, it is going to be done. It's not about externalities. It's not about tilaks and malas and external things. That's fine. That's necessary. This is an internal link. That internal link never goes if the bhakti is real. If bhakti is real bhakti, not some superficial bhakti, because to show off to somebody, even to show off to yourself sometimes, ahankar, not that. Sachi bhakti, real bhakti. Some people are there, nobody's there, you're alone, millions of people are there. It makes no difference, you're the same. There's no damage to the link with the feet of the Lord. Mai avesh mano emam nitya yukta upasate. Chapter 12 Gita. That is the goal. So, to wrap this up for today, dhyato vishan punsa sangasteshu pajayate. This shows here that the internal binding, we can decide. Sachin can decide. Sachin is only speaking for Sachin. I'm not telling anybody anything. Sharing only some interpretation. I have to see myself. Am I binding myself? How much ahankar I have in interaction with what I'm doing? Can I offer all my actions at the feet of God? At the feet of my Guru? At the feet of Bhagwan? Yes, we can. We don't want to. But if we want to start doing it, transformation happens. We become free. We become absolutely free. Within few days only, one will be a completely mukta. But in every kriya, in every action, continuously offer it to the Lord. The action will not bind. It will be something extraordinary, something amazing will be there. देखो miracle क्या होता है, भगवान कहाँ नहीं है, भगवान तो सब जगह है. God is present everywhere. When we are in link this way, amazing experiences happen. And main thing is internally, you wind up in sahaja avastha, natural state. The natural function of the senses and the antakarana with the objects outside without internal resistance and friction, where the intelligence is awakened at its highest level as per J. Krishnamurti also. Okay, let's stop here with that. Otherwise, we will not be able to stop. So, Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurame Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Divilingaya Namaha Urdhvalingaya Namaha Anandalingaya Namo Namaha Omkara Charankatam Va Kayajam Karmajam Va Shravananajam Va Manasam Va Paradam Vihitam Va Sarvametachmasva Jai Jai Karunabde Shri Mahadeva Shambho Om Divilingaya Nama Chandraya Nama Suryaya Nama Atmalingaya Nama Paramatmalingaya Nama Om Namah Shivaya Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu Om Shri Durga Arpanamastu Om Hrim Swaha